these people.
All right. Good afternoon. Good evening, actually. I'm Angel Rivera. And since you're watching this show, you have.
You have chosen wisely.
That's right. You've chosen wisely. Hold on. There you go. I forgot. Hold on.
I was just about to say.
Uh, Hold on. That's weird. You still can't see me. Give me a second. Must be my webcam.
I think you got about 3 minutes.
Shoot. All right, so we have a bit of a Hold on, I'm gonna have to close this out. Hold on. Oh, here we go. All right,
Yes,
we're
he
back.
is building now.
All right, here we go. Yeah, I don't know why my webcam kind of must have crashed or something.
It's still acting up a bit.
Let me see. Looks fine now. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, right now, yes, but I still saw a little pop up.
Oh no, that's probably me moving it. So, all right, Witchy hopefully can come on in a moment because she was telling me she's feeling kind of exhausted. So, she said she can probably come on in a few. So, all right. So, oh, there she is in the chat. So, hopefully, so we got a lot to talk about this week. Let's see here. Let me
You able
look
to
at what
come
I
on
have.
stuff?
So we got update on Maduro and his trial dates. So I'm going to read this article, but I was reading it during the week, and it says.
Did you see the article I shared in the group earlier today about Delcy Rodriguez? I tagged you.
Oh yeah. I think I saw it. Yeah, I did. So the trial date for Maduro is June 1st, 2027. So we're looking at almost a year before his trial starts.
Steph isn't coming on today. She just said so.
Okay, so that's fine. Let's see. So yeah, 2027 is his trial date. We'll get to that. Let's see. Trump rules out Netanyahu's arrest as U.S. escalates campaign against Iran. The House advances 2027 NDA with the section to integrate the U.S. and Israeli military. So they're very likely to pass this and basically integrate or mesh together the U.S. and Israeli military. So people have a problem with Israel having control over the U.S. It's going to get worse now once our militaries are.
But did you hear that Trump apparently collapsed before getting to a limo?
Oh, really? I didn't see that. No. Oh, okay. Americans
also,
are.
I'm sure you've also seen Mamdani posting the video that he's distancing from himself of being a socialist and praising Obama. I'm sure you saw that.
No, I didn't see that, but I did see his clip, and I'm going to get to it a little bit later, where he backpedaled from arresting Netanyahu if he came to New York. So now all of a sudden he doesn't have the authority to arrest Netanyahu, and that was one of his key campaign promises when he was elected mayor, by the way. But we all knew that from the
Belfort again award.
yeah, he's backpedaling from arresting Netanyahu. U.S. officials see closer ties with Trump ally Eric Prince in Haiti, formerly of Blackwater. So, yeah, Trump is tying himself to Haiti and to Eric Black. No, Eric Prince. Jesus, I just said Eric Black. Um, Gas prices are going above $4, and yeah, so a lot more too. So, whoops, let's see here. Let's start off with. I'm not sure if you guys have seen this. And the only reason why I'm playing it is because it's in the context of Israel and their propaganda. But I assume you've seen this, Alex, but I'm not sure if anybody else seen this. It's from Canary Mission, which they are. Hold on. That's the wrong one.
No, I haven't seen that. Well, I saw that Ro Khanna was confronted by Jeremy Scahill.
No, yeah, I'm talking about. Hold on, I have the wrong one. I think no, this is the right one. This is from Canary Mission.
Oh God,
they are. So I want to show this first. I just accidentally removed it. Hold on.
Kyle fucking Kalinske.
So this is the organization that put out that clip, and so they're using Kyle Kalinske extreme rhetoric in order to connect him to DSA and basically say DSA is just as crazy and insane as Kyle is. So they're trying to smear DSA, even though I don't like DSA either, so I really don't care. But I just found it interesting that they are using Kyle to smear DSA basically and connecting him. Look at how crazy this dude is. So all DSA is crazy like he is. So this is it. Canary Mission documents individuals and organizations that promote hatred of the USA, Israel, and Jews on North American campuses and beyond. Canary Mission investigates hatred across the entire political spectrum, including the far right, far left, and anti-Israel activists. Canary Mission.
No, Cord, he did not marry Steph.
He married a witch and has blonde hair. Let's see. Canary Mission is motivated by a desire to combat the rise of anti-Semitism on college campuses. So, in other words, if you protest Israel's what they're doing to the Palestinians, you're anti-Semitic.
Which is what AOC does a lot.
Yeah. We pursue our mission by presenting the words and deeds of individuals and organizations that engage in quote-unquote anti-Semitism, racism, and bigotry on the far right, far left, and among the array of organizations that comprise the anti-Semitic boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. So they're against BDS, obviously, because they don't.
Yeah, they're canceled immediately. Goodbye.
Yeah. So they go. Canary Mission gathers content from publicly available sources. Initially, we collect and validate materials submitted privately through our website. We aggregate this information into a concise, easily searchable format, providing free access to the general public. So I wonder who funds them. I couldn't really find anything on who funds them, but I'm going to assume it's APAC, or at least I'm speculating that APAC does finance this.
APAC, but it could be like, what is it, J Street? Is that the name?
J Street, the Anti-Defamation League. I mean, there's many of these organizations that could be funding this, but donate, support our mission to help us fight anti-Semitism. My ass. So let's see. So let's go back to this. So this is the actual ad they put out, which includes Kyle here. So they're desperately trying to connect Kyle to the DSA. So
the U.S.
So, of course, let's watch this. This is Kyle Kalinske, far left podcaster. So, the issue that I have with this is Kyle's over the top and ridiculous rhetoric on Israel. Mm-hmm. He claims that they are just like the Nazis and they're doing concentration camps, even though they're. No. I mean, let me watch this. I forget exactly what he says, but it's just Like, it's so over the top and ridiculous that these organizations are using him in order to smear, other, not only politicians but the college campus students and the protesters in Palestine against what Israel is doing to Palestine.
Yeah.
So it's only 90 seconds. So
The U.S. government and the Israeli government, they're in the midst of creating the Fourth Reich.
that's what I'm talking about. The Fourth Reich, really? So that's totally made up. Like, it's just insane when he says stuff like that. So now they're going to connect all the DSA politicians to Kyle here. A stream full of hatred of America and terror support recently took place.
And it is absolutely accurate to compare these people to Mussolini, to Adolf Hitler.
Oh, really? So, look, don't get me wrong. Netanyahu's a piece of shit and a scumbag and a motherfucker. But comparing him to Hitler and Mussolini, like, he does understand that Hitler did the genocide.
I would compare Netanyahu to Hitler. I think that's fair.
But Netanyahu doesn't take Palestinians and put them in gas chambers.
But he's still killing them.
Well, yeah, we're arguing semantics, but yeah, I mean, pretty much. But he is doing the same thing. But at the same time, the rhetoric is still like.
But
over the top.
He's probably the most evil guy right now. So I mean, I'm not going to disagree with that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm not defending Netanyahu with this. I'm just saying I think the rhetoric is a little too much, and it gives organizations like this a opportunity to attack him. Because a lot of attack not only him but all these politicians and the protesters. Because again, the normies don't know any of this. Normies just see this and like, oh, these are all anti-Semitic people, and they don't, their rhetoric is outrageous, and they move on, and it discredits the actual protesters that are, the BDS protesters and the college campus protesters that are fighting Israel and trying to get their colleges to divest from Israel. And now, a lot of normies are going to think that they are anti-Semitic, and they'll just dismiss not only crazy ass Kyle but the entire anti-Israel left. So. Yeah. By the way, get a load of the evil music. Like you can tell that they're what they're going for here. Hey, Ro Khanna, are they out of their minds? Ro Khanna is like the most establishment politician.
Ro Khanna supports Israel. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like, oh no, it's not enough though. You have to 100% support Israel. If you don't, you're anti-Semitic and you're evil and you hate Israel and you hate the Jews. So.
We're governed by dead-eyed psychopaths and sociopaths and bloodthirsty imperialists.
Wait. Psychopaths and sociopaths are two different things. Like, you can't just say we're governed by sociopaths and psychopaths. So, but whatever, that's minor. But again, the rhetoric is over the top. Like, a lot of normies are going to look at this like, yeah, this blonde-haired, ridiculous person is out of his mind and he's anti-Semite. So,
the U.S. government and the Israeli government, they are the terrorists.
Again, he's not wrong, but it's so over the top that a lot of normies are just going to say, yeah, screw, like, these are anti-Semites.
Just hold on a second. Ellen, you can also watch this on YouTube instead of X under the Indie News Network channel. So,
She's trying to share the X stream. I don't know why it's not popping up because I don't stream it on my. We stream on the Indie News Network Twitter. I don't know why you can't find it. It should, if you follow INN, it should be right on top.
Yeah.
But I could share it. I could put it in the chat. Where are we? Why can't I see it? It should be here. It says live. Hold on. Yeah, we're here. Yeah, we're here, but I don't know why, it's not popping up. It's like we're being kind of, what's what I'm looking for? Delisted because I don't even see it here on our X. Let's see. Let me go back to this.
They are the terrorists. They are doing terrorism. If Iran's off the table as a regional power, that means Hezbollah can't be funded, Hamas can't be funded, the Houthis can't be funded.
Right there, he's implying that it's a good thing that Iran is funding all these quote unquote terrorist organizations, which again, it's it's the rhetoric that these organizations can use, like, oh, Kyle Kalinske support terrorists, and normies gonna be like, yeah, I mean, the entire left supports these terrorists.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah, exactly. That's the wrong messaging there.
yeah, exactly. He's implying that all these quote unquote terrorists are good, that Iran should be funding.
That's him in a nutshell, by the way, right there.
He's kind of out of his mind here.
Shia crescent falls, and then you have nothing but regional domination for Israel. There's a reason why I call Israel and the U.S. the axis of Epstein, okay? There's a reason why...
Again, nobody's going to understand what that means.
Yeah.
Like, they see Epstein as, like, the child molester and a terrible person, but they're not going to understand because most normies haven't followed the Epstein thing too closely. So they don't understand the connection between Epstein and Israel and Epstein and the U.S. They just understand he's a child molester and it's good that he's dead. That's what they're going to understand. So this axis of Epstein thing is not going to land at all. So
I've said repeatedly that they're in the midst of creating the Fourth Reich, because that's
again, the Fourth Reich is like, what the fuck? He's out of his mind.
Sincerely is what they're doing. These are genuinely repulsive, disgusting, wretched, depraved human beings. And it is absolutely accurate to compare these people to the worst criminals in history, to Mussolini, to Adolf Hitler.
DSA spreads hatred of America and advocates for its enemies. So again, right there, DSA doesn't do any of that. Kyle did that. But they're trying...
Hold on a second. 1001 Streets. No, Kyle Kalinske is a fucking sellout. He used to be good a long time ago, but now he's turned into a fucking liberal who's... You know, he's a Democrat. He says both Democrats and Kamala Harris would have been much, much better than Trump. That's not true. It's a sellout.
He's an insane liberal. I mean, that's why they're using this Canary Mission organization is using him in order to smear DSA. DSA doesn't do any of this, by the way. They're just they're a wing of the Democratic Party, and they're just there. You know, I mean, they don't advocate for anything that is outrageous. I mean, they are allegedly or in theory anti-Israel, I forget what's the word exactly.
Zionist.
Anti-Zionist. Thank you. I forgot Zionists. Like, what are they're in theory anti-Zionist, but I guarantee you, if any of these DSA members get elected, you know AOC is going to come up to them and say, well, you can't be anti-Zionist in Washington.
By the way, there's a clip going around that, you know, someone was telling her that Democrats really support her or whatever. They said, she's like, thank you. I'm really grateful for that. And it was showed by the RT channel. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I did see something like that. I really didn't pay attention much, to it, but I'm not surprised. I mean, she's definitely running for president in 2028, so she's already positioning herself. She's positioning herself by going to Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nevada, all these states, you know, the first 4 states in the primary cycle. So usually you don't do that unless you're going to run for president. So let's see. And they are only getting more extreme. No, Kyle's getting more extreme, not the DSA. They're just an offensive, boring, you know, champagne socialists. Like, they're not really that inoffensive. There it is, Canary Mission. Yep. So Kyle, of course, was cringe here, and he's like, damn, I was spitting holy fuck. Like, this is so cringe. He's like, that's something...
a dog, like he's some kind of dude, man. You know?
Like he's a... It's like he's a black man from the 1990s. Black people don't even use dog anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that was like 1990s. Like, he's like he's hit his midlife crisis, and he's not even 40.
It reminds me of that scene from the first Rush Hour movie when Jackie Chan's telling that bartender, he's like, "What's up, N-word?" You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and he's like, "What? What you say?" And he's like, "What's up, my N-word?" Yeah. And that's when they had that big fight at the bar, and Jackie Chan kicked all their asses. But let's see. So yeah, that's that. I just wanted to play that. Let's see. Hillbilly Banjo says, "Smoke more of the weeds. That'll actually calm you down." So yeah, go ahead. Let's see. Accord Lord says it says far left. It's like, yeah, they're champagne socialists. They're not like far left. It also says why the fuck he got the Spaniard facial hair.
He's had that since what 2022 or something.
Yeah, what he does, he bleaches his hair blonde and he uses way too much just for men on his beard, so it just looks awkward.
And it gets all over his brain as well.
Yeah. So that's that. I just wanted to go over that because his rhetoric is just so over the top that people are going to instantly dismiss him and dismiss the left too, quite frankly, because he doesn't have many subscribers as Cenk Uygur's nephew, but he's still pretty influential on the left. So, or at least with the Democrat, or I should correct that. At least with a lot of blue no matter who Democrats, let's say.
Yeah.
Because he's not influential. Like Cenk Uygur's nephew is he has a lot more influence because he's helped a lot of these champagne socialists win their primaries. So let's see. So let's go to this one. Let's see. Voters wary of government ownership in companies as Trump administration takes equity stakes. So as we talked about earlier, or not earlier, but in past weeks, the Trump administration have been buying stocks and the companies and all these companies, Nvidia, Apple, they're just buying because they can only own a maximum of 10% of a company, but that's a big chunk of stock of a publicly traded company, and a lot of Americans going to see that as socialism. So that's why a lot of voters are like, nah, we're not in favor of this. The U.S. government has negotiated stakes in dozens of companies, including 10% share in chipmaker Intel, now worth tens of billions of dollars.
Howard Ludwig right there.
Yeah, that's
it is.
The Trump administration has defended the practice, but Senate Republicans have urged caution. To be even a lot of Senate Republicans are like, we don't know whether we want to do this or not. About half of Americans believe it isn't appropriate for the U.S. government to take ownership in U.S.-based companies. A CNBC New All-America Economic Survey found that the finding comes as the Trump administration has negotiated 30 deals worth $27 billion in total. According to the Council on Foreign Relations, a nonpartisan think tank, they're definitely not nonpartisan. They are pro-establishment, pro-Democrat, pro-Republican establishment. That's what they are. And they like all the wars the U.S. has done and all these attacks the U.S. has done. So
that's why it's really stupid when people say that Democrats are better than Republicans. No, they're the fucking same.
Yeah, they're exact. They are people call the United States a two-party dictatorship, and no matter who's president, our foreign policy is exactly the same. Trump, Obama, Biden. The next president, whether it be J.D. Vance or Gavin Newsom, whoever ends up being, their foreign policy will be exactly the same. Because the U.S. president doesn't really control foreign policy. That's the deep state, and that's the lifetime people in Washington. So, let's see. The finding comes. Okay, I already read all that. The more may be coming. The administration has held talks with influential artificial intelligence startups, OpenAI, about a potential government stake when it goes public. The poll results show only 19% of voters say it's appropriate for the federal government to own a portion of U.S.-based companies, while 49% says it isn't. Almost a third of the voters, 32%, were undecided, however, suggesting there's room for persuasion as the administration moves forward with its plans. The poll also was conducted between July 8th and 12th with a nationwide group of 1,000 registered voters. Margin of error 3%. The poll was conducted in collaboration with Hart Research Associates and Public Opinion Strategies. Results were released Friday. Some U.S. ownership stakes have been opportunistic, while others have been a part of a broader economic strategy. The largest came in August, when the U.S. government took 10% ownership of chipmaker Intel. The U.S. government has agreed to provide $8.9 billion in grants to Intel under legislation passed under the Biden administration, which would be the CHIPS Act, I would assume. They're using money from that in order to buy this 10% ownership in Intel. The Trump administration decided it wanted equity in exchange. saying that it would allow the taxpayers to share in any potential upside. Yeah, that's total bullshit. We're not seeing a dime of any of these stocks that the U.S. government's buying. If we were, then like I said weeks ago, I'd be in favor of it. But we're not. So just to make that clear, we're not seeing a dime of any dividends from any of the stock that the U.S. government's buying. The initial 8.9 billion U.S. stake in Intel has grown 372% since then. It's worth $42 billion as of Thursday's close. So that $8.9 billion investment is now worth $42 billion as of Thursday. So the U.S. government made bank off this investment. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick discussed the Intel stake with Senate Republicans at a policy lunch last week. "Quote unquote, we have to be careful about that," Senator John Hoeven of North Dakota said following the meeting. "I understand that he sees value there for the taxpayer and all that. I just want to be cautious in this area." Senator John Husted of Ohio, a Republican, also said he was concerned about the trend of U.S. government taking equity stakes. "I understand that sometimes it makes sense from a national security standpoint, from a taxpayer standpoint, but he added it shouldn't be permanent." Oh, it's going to be permanent. Trust me. If they're making bank like that, the U.S. government is going to continue investing in these companies and then giving them grants. And then, the stock market's going to like that. So the stock's going to go up. And all of a sudden, it goes from being worth $8 billion to $42 billion. So the U.S. government's doing insider trading, and it's perfectly legal. Even though if I do insider trading, there's going to be prison time. Other government stakes have come through a coordinated effort by the federal government to make sure the U.S. has secure access to resources and technologies it needs for national defense. The Pentagon has backed a company called MP Materials that mines rare earth within the U.S. China in recent years has consolidated control over rare earth mining, giving a chokehold in critical components required to build advanced fighter jets, drones, and other technologies. Critics of the U.S. government, excuse me, the U.S. government's involvement in private companies contend that while the government's favor may temporarily make firms more appealing to shareholders, in the long run, companies heavily managed by the government are less competitive. The U.S. steel industry is often cited as a critical example. It's been heavily protected through tariffs and other government measures over the years. In 2025, U.S. Steel was taken private by a Japanese firm. The U.S. government is also given a so-called golden chair that allows it to veto certain business decisions. The U.S. campaign to use financial heft to support companies involved in national security has attracted attention from private investors, some who have ties with the president. ProPublica reported in May that the White House urged the Pentagon to support defense startup Vulcan Elements, a company that has received an investment from a firm linked to Donald Trump Jr., the president's eldest son. The Pentagon has privately held Vulcan's $620 million loan. A White House official described the ProPublica report on the administration's involvement in Vulcan as fake news on steroids. A spokesperson of Donald Trump Jr. said he wasn't personally involved in the deal and doesn't discuss its investment with federal government officials. Democrats are more likely to worry about U.S. government stakes than Republicans. The CNBC poll found 66% of Democrats, nearly dropped my drink, 66% of Democrats found it not appropriate for the U.S. to take equity stakes in American companies, while only 34% of Republicans agreed. Trust me,
if it was a Democratic president, they would agree with that.
Yeah, trust me, if Gavin Newsom did it, they'd be complete support of it. 99% of Democrats are in favor of it. Even among President Trump's most ardent supporters, skepticism is high, the poll found. Self-identified MAGA Republicans split evenly between 31% who said such ownership is appropriate and 31% who said it's not appropriate. Another 38% said it had no opinion on the matter. The poll results showed a shift from October 2025 All-American Economic Survey when 56% of voters said it was not appropriate for the U.S. government to own a portion of private companies. At the time, 30% of voters said such ownership was appropriate, while 31% had no opinion. So, there you go. Most Americans are against it. That's not going to stop the administration from continuing this policy because they're making bank off of it. Hillbilly Banjo said, "See, Angel gets it. This guy gets it. Thank you." Hillbilly Banjo also says Kyle Klaklinski is una mariposa blanda. So he's like a sunflower basically, and he's like yellow. Let's see. Let's go to this. U.S. gasoline prices climbed back up above $4 a gallon on average. Let me hold on a second. The national average price of gasoline in the United States topped $4 per gallon once again on Monday, following crude oil price rally of the past week amid renewed hostilities in the Middle East and the fresh de facto closure of the Strait of Hormuz again. As of January 20th, the national average price for a gallon of regular gasoline in the United States was $4.30, according to AAA data. Prices are now up from $3.87 per gallon on Monday, following a week of re-escalation in the Middle East with Iranian attacks on vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. 9 consecutive nights of U.S. strikes against Iran and Iranian missiles targeting U.S. bases and military assets in America's regional allies, including Kuwait, Jordan, and Bahrain. At this time last year, the average gasoline in the United States was $3.14. But the war in Iran has spiked fuel prices globally, including the United States. After a brief respite in late June, the Strait of Hormuz was tentatively opened to traffic, and millions of barrels of crude managed to exit the Persian Gulf en route to buyers. Oil and fuel prices started to rise again in the Middle East. In the middle of July, as the choke point was closed again, and the markets returned to price and the war premium. Last week, oil prices jumped 16% as the biggest component in gasoline price formulation. The jump in crude prices was expected to translate into a hike in U.S. gasoline prices. Now, let's see. On Sunday, Dahan noted that gas prices declined for the 8 straight weeks after surging to $4.57 per gallon, which is a decline in the last week. And tomorrow, we'll see the second straight week of increases. The average price of gasoline will soon reach $4, while diesel, again, has risen above $5 a gallon. So that means if gas prices go up, that means that food prices will go up. That means prices for everything will go up because trucks need gasoline, in particular fuel or diesel, excuse me. And without diesel, the more expensive diesel is, the more they're going to charge us for food and for groceries. The same thing for food and for clothes and whatever we buy at the store, basically. So yeah, that's not good. A court lord says gas prices went up to $5.85 here in Washington State. I assume your state has a gas tax too, just like we do here in New Jersey. So it's more expensive than what it should be. I saw on X a meme that said gas prices is $4 because we can arrest peds. So let's see here. Let's go to this one. So this is from the Military Times. So our veterans deserve better inside the VA's nursing shortage. Not only is a nursing shortage, but the shortage of everything, including doctors and medical care and psychological care, which is very important for veterans suffering from PTSD. But there's a shortage of everything. So this story was updated with a comment from the Department of Veteran Affairs. So the line at Wendy's drive-thru barely moved as Haley Richards sat behind the wheel during her lunch break, staring into a rear-view mirror beneath a pair of dark sunglasses. The driver behind her pulled close enough where she found herself wondering whether they could tell she was crying. In a few minutes, she would wipe away her tears and drive back to the Department of Veteran Affairs hospital, where she worked as a nurse and finished caring for veterans. At the time, she couldn't explain why an ordinary Tuesday afternoon became the moment for everything surfaced. Looking back, she said, she doesn't think it was all about that day at all. She became a nurse because she wanted to care for veterans. She loved listening to stories about their coffee mugs that nobody dared to wash because the years of coffee seasoned just right. Albert, a Vietnam War veteran, actually got her to drink from his mug one morning after repeatedly assuring her the taste was like no other. She listened to their sea stories, anecdotes about deployments, friendships, losses that still lingered decades after the uniform came off. More recently, the moments that stick in her memory look different. She thinks about the veteran who apologized for asking again for pain medication that hadn't arrived long after it should have. The patient left staring at the ceiling while a cog light continued to flash. The conversation had ended before she wanted it because another veteran couldn't wait any longer. None of these moments would make a report taken together. They have changed what feels like care to veterans inside the VA. The VA is woefully underfunded, has always been underfunded, and is purposely underfunded. So, yeah, because unfortunately, no one cares about veterans. Not only in Washington, but unfortunately, most normies don't really even think about veterans. And we all send them to war to fight our wars for what? For what? For many of the 9 million veterans enrolled in VA healthcare, those moments are largely invisible. Patients may notice delayed medication, longer wait for help, or a hurried bedside conversation. What they don't see are all the decisions nurses say happen behind the scenes when there isn't enough time to do everything they believe their patients' needs. Richard's experience is unfolding against a backdrop of persistent staffing challenges across the Veterans Health Administration. In fiscal year 2025, the VA's Office Inspector General found that all 139 VA medical centers reported at least one severe occupational staffing shortage. Nearly 4 in 5 facilities identified nurses among the shortages, and facilities collectively reported 4,434 severe occupational staffing shortages across clinical and non-clinical operations, a 50% increase from the previous year. The report does not measure nursing vacancy rates. Instead, it identifies occupations at the VA medical centers designated as severe shortages under federal recruitment and retention criteria. Unlike vacancy reports, which estimate open positions, the Inspector General review reflects occupations facilities identified as difficult to recruit or retrain. The Inspector General review measures where facilities say staffing shortages are severe enough to interfere with their mission. VA Press Secretary Quinn Slavin said the Inspector General's report is subjective, identified occupations that facilities feel are difficult to recruit or retrain, rather than measuring department-wide nurse vacancy rates. The report is not a reliable indicator of staffing shortages, arguing that the nursing shortages are in line with historical averages. Why are there any nursing shortages to begin with? I don't know. But Witchy said they don't care about our vets. They don't care when it's our kids that go off to be deleted. Yeah, like I said, the U.S. government sends these people, these young kids, to war to fight their wars for profit and for global domination, which is what it is. The U.S. has military bases in nearly every country in the world, so those have to be staffed. Those troops have to be fed. They have to have weapons. They have to have maintenance of the buildings, maintenance of the planes, maintenance of the tanks. So it costs hundreds of billions of dollars to do that, and there's no money for anything else. Our military discretionary spending is like 60%. So most of our budget is in the military. So it's not, and there's barely slivers for the VA, for social services, for health, for Medicaid, for Medicare. There's barely anything. Medicare, would be fair, is funded by our tax dollars. So that doesn't really, it's not really the government, but still, I mean, there's barely any money for Medicaid, let's say. Let's see. For decades, nursing ethics has studied the consequences of caring for patients when clinicians believe they know its appropriate course of action, but lack the time, staffing, or resources to carry it out. Yeah, it's a disaster, and this article is really long, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to put it in the chat if you guys want to read it on your own time. I definitely recommend it. So yeah, like Richie said, we've said on the show before, they don't care. The United States government doesn't care. Unfortunately, a lot of normies really don't pay attention to this. VA has been critically underfunded for decades, and nothing's really changed, and nothing really won't change. Let's see. You know what? Let's go to. Hold on. Let's get rid of that. Let's go here. Where are we? So yeah, it's a absolute disaster, and here we go. I want to get to where I forgot to. So Zoran Mamdani does a complete 180 on his promise to comply with ICC arrest warrant of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. So on top is what he said during the campaign. On the bottom, this is when he's mayor. So
as mayor, New York City would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a city that our values are in line with international law. It's time that our actions are also.
Even though the U.S. is not a signatory to the ICC?
No, it's time that we actually step up and make clear what we are willing to do to showcase the leadership that is sorely missing in the federal administration.
It is
now this is when he's mayor.
clear that we do not have the independent legal authority to enforce this warrant.
As mayor...
So
what happened?
Yeah, so frankly, I've said it from the beginning. The city of New York doesn't have the authority to arrest Netanyahu. But again, that's his campaign promise, so you got to take him at his word. And of course, he backpedaled from his campaign promise as soon as he became mayor. By the way, Jessica Tisch is a Zionist, and she's the head of the NYPD still.
Yeah.
Even if he would have ordered the NYPD to arrest Netanyahu, that wasn't going to happen because Jessica Tisch is never going to follow through on that order. So it was a ridiculous campaign promise to begin with, and now as mayor, he's backpedaled. And now his supporters aren't going to be happy with him because, hey, what happened? You promised to arrest Netanyahu. You're not going to do it? You're like a
word again, a word.
Yeah, you got tricked again, morons. Let's see. So let's get to this. The reason why I want to do this because let's go to Trump rules out Netanyahu's arrest as the U.S. escalates campaign against the International Criminal Court. The U.S., by the way, is not a signatory to the ICC, so that means that the United States does not have to follow what the ICC says. And even if they were a signatory, I don't care. Like, what? You think they're going to arrest Netanyahu and send them to The Hague? That's not going to happen. Because then that would mean every U.S. president that is still alive would be arrested for war crimes and have to be sent to The Hague. So that's not going to happen. Let's see. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu would not be arrested on U.S. soil, President Donald Trump declared on Monday, an assurance that underscored a widening gap between international criminal law on paper and its enforcement in practice, as Washington escalates its campaign against the court seeking his arrest. Quote unquote, Benjamin Netanyahu will not be arrested in any way, shape, or form while in the United States of America, Trump wrote on social media, adding that Netanyahu is fighting Iran and that the only ones that should be arrested are Iran's leaders. The statement followed remarks by New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani, who said in an interview published Saturday that the city's law department was considering its options ahead of September, when Netanyahu typically travels to New York for the UN General Assembly high-level gatherings. By the way, he backpedaled from that, as we just saw. This article was written before that. So I believe Prime Minister Netanyahu belongs in The Hague. He's a war criminal who's been charged by the International Criminal Court. And what you will find is that is an opinion that is held by many purely because of what his actions have wrought over these last many years, he said in an interview with the New York Times magazine. He's backpedaled from this, by the way. He will not order Netanyahu's arrest. Mamdani took office in January. He campaigned on the pledge to have police arrest Netanyahu if he entered the city. Yeah, he did, and now he's backpedaled. So it's another campaign promise he's broken, by the way. But the left-wing commentators who promote him all the time will not talk about this because it makes them look bad too. The International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants in November 2024 for Netanyahu and his then Defense Minister Yoav Gallant over alleged war crimes and crimes against humanity during the Gaza War. Israel rejects the court's jurisdiction and denies committing war crimes. On Sunday, the Prime Minister's office called the warrant bogus and the court a kangaroo court. ICC member states have a duty to arrest and surrender suspects to the court. But despite his key role in shaping the court, the U.S. is not a member state. Then President Bill Clinton signed the court's founding document, the Rome Statute, in the final days of his term in 2000, but he never submitted it to the Senate. In 2002, as the treaty took effect and the court opened, President George W. Bush administration notified the UN that the U.S. did not intend to become a party. A step by the White House contended released Washington from any residual duty to honor the agreement that it had signed. Congress that year passed the American Service Members Protection Act, barring most U.S. cooperation with the court. Israel is also not a signatory to the Rome Statute. The ICC can issue an arrest warrant for a national non-member state when the alleged genocide, crimes against humanity, or war crimes are committed after July 1st, 2002, in the territory of state party or a state that accepted the court's jurisdiction, or where the UN Security Council refers situations to the prosecutor under Chapter 7. Netanyahu's arrest warrant conduct occurring in Palestinian territory rather than Israel's membership. In effect, Trump's declaration restates a long-standing U.S. policy but lands amid a broader assault on the court's authority, giving old policy new force. The U.S. presence in the UN presence in the city gives New York no additional authority. In 1947, headquarters agreement requires U.S. authorities not to impede delegates' travel to the UN and bars local officials from entering the grounds on official business without the Secretary General's consent. And on top of that, even if Mamdani wanted to arrest Netanyahu, he couldn't really do it because of the 1947 agreement that basically says that the NYPD cannot enter the grounds without permission from the Secretary General, which is not going to happen. And I'm not sure if Mamdani knew this or not. Maybe he didn't because he's not that bright. But the district is not on foreign soil. U.S. law applies there. Customary international law grants sitting heads of government personal immunity from prosecution abroad. The principle of the International Court affirmed the 2002 ruling involving an incumbent foreign minister. U.S. courts defer heavily to the executive branch in such matters. Foreign policy is a federal power, and harassing foreign officials is a federal crime. The U.S. ambassador to the UN, Mike Waltz, cited these points Saturday, calling Mamdani's petition pure political theater. Which, by the way, is not wrong. It was definitely political theater by Mamdani to rile up his support base to vote for him more. Mamdani has not said what legal theory the city might invoke in the weekend interview, blah, 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 so he backpedaled from this. The exchange follows an announcement a week earlier, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio outlined what the State Department called a whole-of-government campaign to disable the ICC, saying Washington would dismantle the court brick by brick as necessary. The plan contemplates sanctions, visa reconvictions, I can't read that word for some reason, and pressure on allies to withdraw. So, there you go. Accord Lord says, my son's JROTC teacher showed up to his 18th birthday party and asked him if he wanted to enlist. My son's mom told the guy off and made him leave. Well, there you go. Good. Because quite frankly, I don't think anyone should join the military. Let's see. So, whoops. There we go. The U.S. judge sets 2027 trial date for Venezuela's Maduro and his wife. Venezuela's former president, Nicolas Maduro, pleads not guilty to drug charges. His lawyer plans to challenge the legality of his U.S. military operation. The United States judge has set the trial date for former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, both abducted from the South American country during the U.S. military attack in January 2026. Judge Alvin Hellerstein set a trial date for Wednesday, June 1st, 2020, or on Wednesday for June 1st, 2027. Both Maduro and Flores had pleaded not guilty to drug trafficking charges while denying the basic legitimacy of the trial. Neither spoke during the 15-minute court hearing. The administration of U.S. President Donald Trump has justified his military raid on Caracas in January and its abduction of the couple, widely termed illegal by international legal scholars, by alleging that Maduro was a part of a conspiracy to traffic cocaine into the U.S. as its capacity as head of state. Maduro says, I'm not guilty. I'm a decent man, the constitutional president of my country. Maduro said in his arraignment in January. Maduro's lawyer, Barry Pollock, said that he suspects to challenge the legality of the military raid to capture Maduro and bring him to the U.S. for trial. He stated on Wednesday that he would first challenge the case on grounds of sovereign immunity, which, if successful, would mean that Maduro no longer has to litigate the case, which means he'll be allowed to go back to Venezuela and continue being president, I would assume. Neither Maduro or Flores has asked to be released from jail, and Judge Hellerstein's set next year's trial date at the request of attorneys from both sides. Maduro faces 4 counts of including quote-unquote narco-terrorism, conspiracy and cocaine importation conspiracy. It could face life in prison if convicted. The Trump administration has often used concerns about drug trafficking to assert its influence in countries across Latin America. The Trump administration has called the attack on Venezuela, which Venezuelan authorities say killed 83 people, a quote-unquote surgical law enforcement operation. Yeah, but the military doesn't do law enforcement. They do war and killing and stuff. So it's not a law enforcement operation. It was a military operation. And it was an act of war, quite frankly, because you can't just kidnap a head of state and not claim it was an act of war in a criminal case first put forward 6 years ago. The Venezuelan presidency has been filmed by interim President Delcy Rodriguez, who has aligned the country more closely with U.S. interests, which is what it's all about. And they knew that she would do that. Let's see.
Speaking of Delcy Rodriguez, you can go to that article that I shared in the group earlier today.
No, I should. Let's see. Venezuela cut ties with Israel 17 years ago, which was when Hugo Chavez was president, and Maduro's continued that policy. This is the new puppet president we installed in Venezuela meeting with the IDF this week. I wonder if this is why we kidnapped Maduro. So
yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. Yeah, I mean, Trump wasn't the only one. She was definitely in on it too.
Yeah, at this point, her meeting with the IDF and changing Maduro and Hugo Chavez's policy tells me everything I need to know. And on top of that, she's the interim president. Does he really have authority to be meeting with the IDF and changing policy? That'd be an interesting question for Venezuelan legal scholars. But there you go. There's the IDF. There is the Zionist Jews meeting with her. Let's see. I wish I would have found an article and see whether she talked about how great the IDF was or is. Let's see. So let's go back to this. That finished reading this? Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, so it looks like Maduro's trial is next year. Let's see. So, where is it? What's next? Here we go. One of our main stories this week. House rule advances 2027 NDAA, or National Defense Authorization Act, with section to integrate U.S. and Israeli militaries. A final vote on the House version of the NDAA will take place on Wednesday. Wait a minute, this is kind of old, so let me see whether it actually... I assume that it passed, but I'm not sure whether it actually passed.
In the second paragraph.
Oh, right. The House on Tuesday approved the procedural vote to advance the $1.15 trillion 2027 National Defense Authorization Act, which includes a section to further integrate the U.S. and Israeli militaries. A plan that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said was his idea. In other words, Netanyahu is setting U.S. policy. So, not surprised by that, by the way. No. The rule allowed floor debate and a vote on NDAA and several pieces of legislation passed in the 214-11 votes. And a final vote on the House version NDAA is expected to take place on Wednesday. The procedural step came after the House Rules Committee denied a vote on an amendment introduced by Representative Thomas Massie, outgoing Representative Thomas Massie, by the way, since he lost his primary, to strip Section 219, the Israeli integration plan, from the bill. Unfortunately, the rule passed, and now we have no debate or vote was allowed on Section 219, integration of the U.S. military technology and supply chains with Israel. Massie wrote on X. The NDAA will receive the recorded vote tomorrow with Section 219 in it. I'll vote no. Representative Ro Khanna of Democratic California, who supported Massie's effort, said that he will now fight to strip Section 219 in the conference between the House and the Senate when the two chambers negotiate the final version of the NDAA. Thomas Massie and I have been fighting to stop the integration between our military and the Israeli military. It is shocking that even this has to be explained. It's about American sovereignty, Connor said in a brief video statement on Tuesday. Yet, yesterday, the Rules Committee found that Thomas Massey's amendment couldn't even get a vote in House of Representatives. We do not even have the chance to vote in the House to stop the U.S. and Israeli from co-producing weapons. We need to now fight to strip this amendment in the conference between the House and the Senate. The Senate version of the NDAA also includes a provision to integrate the two militaries. But the sprawling legislation was blocked by Senate Democrats last week over President Trump's war in Iran, which has not been authorized by Congress and has continued despite both chambers passing a concurrent war powers resolution directing the president to end the conflict. So, like we talked about when that passed, it's not going to work. You think Donald Trump's going to end the war just because Congress tells him to? Let's see. So, there you go. Netanyahu's idea is to integrate the U.S. and Israeli militaries, and both houses of Congress are desperate to do it. The question is whether it actually, the final version of the NDA will have that or not. I assume that it will. Let's see. Let's go to this. Let's see. Anything here? Lori says Trump is a pirate. Yep. Let's see. Prosecutor investigating U.S. boat strikes and claims the torture was murdered in Ecuador. Why am I not surprised? The guy that's investigating the United States for possible war crimes in Ecuador is dead and assassinated. I'm not surprised there. Don't do that. No, I don't want to read it in Spanish. Even I could read it. Alexandra Bravo, the prosecutor assigned to investigate U.S. strikes on 3 Ecuadorian boats and the 36 survivors' subsequent accounts of torture and kidnapping, was shot dead in the coastal city of Manta last month. According to police on June 14th, a hitman aboard a black motorcycle opened fire on Bravo as she and her sister were leaving a cafe about 11 a.m. Bravo's sister, who jumped to protect her, was also killed in the attack. Arriving at the crime scene, officers said they found 5 9mm shell casings and Bravo's injured driver, but no sign of the police detail had been assigned to protect her. Oh, the police detail? They're gone. You're telling me it wasn't an inside job? That her police protection just disappeared all of a sudden? The police directorate, which operates entirely under the executive branch, has launched a probe to determine whether there was an internal security breach. Trust me, they won't find anything. They'll be like, oh, no, we did a good job. We just disappeared for reasons. Bravo's the 26th member of the Ecuador's justice system to be assassinated since 2020, and the second individual investigating state crimes murdered that week. Besides her unusual caseload of homicide and organized crime, Bravo has been working on the Florida, Negra Francesca, and Don Maca cases, a series of drone attacks on civilian fishing ships exposed by drop site in April. 2 of the boat's crews returned home and reported being abducted, blindfolded, and starved for 8 days by American gunmen in U.S. military uniforms aboard a U.S. flag patrol ship before being abandoned in El Salvador. The UN Committee on Forced Disappearances endorsed the calls for an investigation, demanding that the U.S. provide information on the whereabouts of the 8 still missing men and any involvement in the matter by April 27th. To date, the United States is not responsible.
Interrupt for a second. Golden Monarch, Angel, Steph couldn't be on today. She's tired and her son dealing.
Her son was coming home, so we'll hopefully see her next week. So, of course, the United States is not going to respond. It's like, oh, you want us to respond and give you documents? Not going to happen. Well, you think we're going to do anything? No. You can go fuck yourselves. Under Ecuador's right-wing president Daniel Noboa, Miami-born billionaire often characterized as U.S.-backed dictator. By the way, he was born in Miami. He's not even from Ecuador, but he somehow became their president. The country has become a central testing ground for Operation Southern Spear, Washington's extrajudicial bombing campaign purporting to target quote-unquote narco-terrorists, which has killed 221 people to date. There is no evidence that many of the victims, including those in Bravo's investigation, had engaged in drug trafficking. I can't make any assertion regarding it being a political assassination, but evidently when a prosecutor is killed because of the investigation they're conducting. Fernando Batistas, a renowned human rights attorney with Ecuador CDH and member of the Geneva-based World Organization Against Torture, told Dropside News. That is something we've learned from an experience in Ecuador. By the way, I can claim that it's a political assassination because it's a political assassination. So if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it is a duck. Source inside the Manta Police Department who knew Bravo personally told Dropside that the Ecuadorian prosecutor was under pressure from his superiors at the Attorney General's office to treat the U.S. attacks as exclusively cases of disappearance, quote unquote. The source, who asked for anonymity out of fear of retaliation, said Bravo was told to close all lines of inquiry after 36 to 44 missing men were found, despite arriving with severe injuries, including 70% vision loss and feet torn to flesh and bone, which medical experts have found consistent with their accounts of explosions and torture. A senior researcher with Human Rights Watch who interviewed Bravo as part of investigations of the three vessels similarly recalled Bravo facing quote-unquote internal challenges within the institution itself to advance the investigation. The researcher said that the prosecutor repeatedly sought cooperation from other branches responsible for the ship's rescue, including the Mansa Port Captaincy, but none responded to her request for information. During the Negra Francesca bombing, Darwin Pico Flores, an eyewitness aboard a nearby boat, told Dropside that he called the Mansa Port Captaincy to request emergency assistance. No one came. In April, as part of the first investigation into the incident, Dropside called the port seeking comment. The official hung up after learning the call was from journalists. So, yeah, it's an absolute. It's obvious that it was a political inside job and somebody wanted her dead for doing this investigation. Let's see. So let's look at look at this. There we go. U.S. officials see closer ties with Trump allies. Prince security firm in Haiti. This is Eric Prince, formerly of Blackwater. U.S. security officials are planning closer ties with a private military company in Haiti run by Eric Prince, a close ally of President Donald Trump's and a top U.S. military advisor told Congress on Tuesday, as the rights groups raised alarm over civilians' deaths from drone strikes linked to the firm. Prince is the founder of the now defunct private military firm Blackwater, some of whose members were pardoned in 2020 for killing Iraqi civilians. His contractors have since been involved in Ecuador and the Democratic Republic of Congo. So, of course, Donald Trump pardoned those members of Blackwater who were responsible for killing Iraqi civilians. So now the administration, again, is working close with him in his new company. Prince's company, Vectis Global, has been operating in Haiti since March 2025, using drones deployed through Haiti's government-run task force to target powerful armed gangs that have seized large swaths of the country. Human Rights Watch estimates 1,242 people were killed by drone strikes in 141 operations between March 2025 and January 2026, including 43 civilian adults and 17 children, with a further 738 people injured, including 49 civilians. The rights group found that the member of operations and death toll increased substantially between October and January. The U.S. Department of Defense Colonel Justin Gorkowski, who co-leads an oversight team for the Gang Suppression Force, a UN-backed security force mandated to help police fight gangs, told the hearing's Haiti task force that was a tremendous partner and a task force officer would be embedded in the Joint Operations Center next week. We have coordination informally at all levels of command with Vectis Global and the Haitian task force, but we'll formalize the agreement partnership, he said, noting that there were currently no operational overlap. In the future, of course, as we shut down the gangs, the partnership will get closer. By the way, Eric Prince has to be making a shit ton of money from U.S. government contracts to kill these gang members in Haiti. So, a spokesperson for the GSF said it does not conduct joint operations with the task force, and its mandate is to coordinate with all security actors to strictly ensure activities do not overlap, interfere with each other, or create unnecessary risks. The State Department added that such coordination to the Joint Operations Center was critical to help prevent civilian casualties. even though this task force accidentally killed civilians, and that the accidentally killed civilians, and that the GSF force coordinates with the task force under the direction of the Haitian government, but the composition of this group is a decision for Haiti. So, yeah, so they're all just murdering each other and killing people in Haiti. Haiti is pretty much a failed state at this point. There's really no government there to speak of, and the U.S. is pretty much running that country to however they want. Yeah, I don't care about that. Rid of that. Backing for the UBI is growing. Let's push for the most progressive version of it. Blah blah blah. Accord Lord says AOL is now AWOL. Golden Monarch talks about AOL was dead. I thought so too until I came across that article. I was like, oh wow, AOL's still around. So let's see. Universal basic income is not a panacea, and some versions are libertarian, but a good version is worth fighting for. So UBI sounds good on paper, but I think me and Witchy, we've talked about it on the show before, where UBI is pretty nefarious because basically what they're going to do, and Witchy especially subscribed to this, is that they're going to take away our jobs, give us, I don't know, $1,000, $1,500 a month, and basically force us to use it in digital currency and force us to basically agree not to go against the state and basically, or else you won't get this money. So, yeah, initially UBI on paper to me sounds good, but after Witchy said that, it kind of convinced me to it's not really the best thing. I would prefer to, have a job and not actually have to be dependent of the government for my money. For that reason, the idea of universal basic income has now been around for decades, but is now growing in popularity as artificial intelligence threatens to make our economic future under neoliberal capitalism even more precarious. Yet, no one will argue that universal basic income is a panacea to capitalism evils. Moreover, there are different proposals implementing universal basic income. As renowned feminist and socialist economist Nancy Fulbright, the author of several books including Making Care Work, Why Our Economy Should Put People First, blah, blah, blah. She's a professor emerita of economics and director of program on gender and care work at the Political Economy Research Institute at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Acknowledges that given the balance of power between capital and labor in today's world, the obstacle of implementing a fully progressive version of such plans are enormous. Yet societies must care for the well-being of the citizens that are going to continue sustaining themselves. As she says, a philosophy, every person for themselves philosophy is a recipe for extinction. This pretty much is an interview with her, talking about how important UBI is, but like I said, initially I was in favor of it, but now it's like, I would rather have a job and control my own money instead of getting UBI, which there's no guarantee that we'll get the most progressive version of it. Most likely we're going to get a more libertarian centrist version of it where they're going to try to control what we say and what we do and how we say it and how we do it. So let's see here. What else do we got? Yeah, here we go. I wish Witchy was here to talk about this, but maybe I'll probably bring it up again next week. Windows 11 has a hidden tracker. Here's how to limit it. So, not surprising here. Microsoft decided to put unique tracker in every Windows computer that they have their operating system in. So even if you have a VPN, they can still track you with this what they call a global device identifier. So Peter Stokes allegedly used VPN Grok tunnels and rotating IP across Estonia, New York, and Thailand to cover his tracks during a luxury retailer breach. None of it mattered. The FBI subpoenas Microsoft telemetry and found that a single 64-bit string, G6755467234350028, that followed is my Windows install everywhere. According to PC Mag's reporting, the DOJ's complaint, that identifier is called Global Device Identifier. It exists on his machine the same as it exists on your machine. Most of Windows' 1.6 billion users never heard of it before court documents named it, raising fresh concerns about secretly tracking users at the OS level. By the way, we talked about this in the show before, where states are trying to mandate laws that they're to basically track people at the OS level, which makes it very difficult to remove that tracking, but it's not impossible. I mean, if you're a computer person, you know how to remove that, especially at the Linux level when you have Linux operating system. What is GDID actually does and why there's no off switch. The DOJ complaints describe GDID as a persistent device-level identifier designed to uniquely identify installation of Windows operating system on a device. It survives OS updates or resets on a full reinstall, and sign back to the same Microsoft account, though the activation record plus OneDrive sync can reasonably relink you, according to private community analysis by Privacy Guides. Disabling GDID is not an option. The activation scripting community Masgrave concluded that removing it breaks Windows activation and UWP apps entirely. Before this case surfaced publicly, Microsoft documented GDID in exactly one obscure Azure monitor schema reference, not in every consumer-facing privacy material. So Microsoft talked about it once in an obscure Azure monitor, which basically only computer geeks read, and not in any normie consumer privacy material. There's no toggle, not even a buried one. You can't remove the fingerprint, but you can reduce what gets tied to it. Use a local account. Skip the Microsoft account login during setup. Signing into an MSA enriches the identity graph, connecting GDID to OneDrive, Outlook, Xbox, and more. Minimize diagnostic telemetry. Go to Settings, Privacy, Security, Diagnostics, and Feedback, and set data collection to a minimum and disable send optional diagnostic data. I've done that long before this. Cut activity history and swap your browser. Turn off activity history under privacy and security. Phone linking, cloud, clipboard stop working. But cross-device timeline logging drops with them. For sensitive browsing, skip Edge. Community analysis suggests that it feeds URL level data to Microsoft logs linked to GDID. Firefox or hardened Chromium build with no MSA login works better here. Also, Brave works well with that too. Reinstall carefully. A clean reinstall generates a new GDID, but only creates real separation if you avoid relinking the same Microsoft account on the same hardware. If you run into computer problems during this process, a dedicated troubleshooting resource can help. The VPN problem nobody told you about. Relying on VPN for privacy on Windows is like wearing a mask in a store that already scanned your fingerprint at the door. Yeah, unfortunately, VPNs are not really going to work with this. So VPNs hide your ID from destination sites. They do nothing to stop Microsoft from logging GDID plus IP plus URL combination at the OS level. In the Stokes case, the same GDID appeared accessing his Apple, Facebook, and Snapchat accounts across multiple countries, correlating with his travel photos he posted publicly. By the way, that's pretty stupid of you to post photos of where exactly you are, especially if you're committing crimes or allegedly committing crimes. According to Tom's Hardware and Cyber News reporting on the complaint, privacy researchers describe GDID as behaving more of a covert traffic tracking beacon than a typical advertising ID. For journalists, activists, or anyone with serious threat model, the guidance from security researchers is pointed. Don't use Windows for sensitive work, especially given how a purpose-built surveillance app can compound these risks. Linux doesn't run a closed vendor-controlled device ID, feeling a proprietary cloud telemetry graph. Apple and Google at least expose their user-facing resets for advertising identifiers. Windows offers nothing equivalent for GDID. for most people, that is uncomfortable reality to sit with. For anyone facing real risk, it may be the reason to reconsider the platform entirely. So I have considered going to Linux myself, but I've not really pulled the trigger on that because I'm not sure if I found a Linux system that can actually play my games. So it's kind of an issue, especially when I'm trying to play Steam games. So I'm not gone to considering fully going to Linux, even though eventually I would like to do that. So that way I can avoid these Windows 11 trackers and trying to track me and everything I do on my computer. But hopefully I can find a operating system. I forget what they're called. Steph would know, but they're not really. They're different versions of Linux. So let's see. So we got. Oh wait, we got more here. Oh, excuse me. So we got. Yeah, let's go to this. Oops. So we got a Bill Clinton ad from 1992. So they want to end welfare as you know it. Remember that. Bring back the death penalty, cut spending, and lower taxes. Today, this is considered far right. So, it's from 1992.
New generation of Democrats, Bill Clinton and Al Gore, and they don't think the way the old Democratic Party did.
The old Democratic Party, so the New Deal Democrats, basically.
They've called for an end to welfare as we know it.
Oh,
so welfare
yeah.
can be a second chance, not a way of life. They've sent a strong signal to criminals by supporting the death penalty. And they've rejected the old tax and spend politics. Clinton's balanced 12 budgets, and they've proposed a new plan investing in people, detailing $140 billion in spending cuts they'd make right now.
Ooh, spending cuts. They usually meant spending cuts on social programs, which is what they end up doing.
Clinton Gore, for people, for a change.
A change! Yeah, that change was total bullshit. Because it changed with... So we also had Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, endorsing Haley Stevens over the fake doctor. So, Abdul Al-Sayed.
As governor, I've had one strategy: get things done. And that strategy informs everything that I do.
Yeah, and promote a fake kidnapping plot against you.
And that's why I'm endorsing Haley Stevens for the U.S. Senate. Just like me, Haley will do whatever it takes to get things done for the people of Michigan. And we need her now more than ever. Republicans in D.C. are making your life harder and more expensive. Tariffs, cuts to Medicaid,
Haley Stevens is a Republican.
It's all...
Yeah, and also she was a bureaucrat under the Obama administration, so she worked for Obama too. So that's why she was always going to get this endorsement from every Democrat, no matter what the fake doctor does or says.
Piling on. Luckily, Haley is taking them on and putting money back in Michiganders' pockets. She helped President Obama save the auto industry.
Yeah, I just said that, but I didn't know she actually would bring that up.
200,000 Michigan jobs. Brought billions home to rebuild Michigan manufacturing. Took on Big Pharma to lower the cost of prescription drugs.
By the way, that's only for 8 drugs. So it's not even for every drug to lower prices.
Fight to block Republicans from defunding Social Security. And she's standing up.
Yeah, it's totally made up because Democrats also wanted to
defund Social Security. Abdul El-Sayed tell supporters to stop attacking Gretchen Whitmer.
Yeah, but Gretchen Whitmer and Haley Stevens can attack him all day long. It's Bernie Sanders type politics.
Yeah.
Like, remember when he said that, don't attack Hillary. Hillary's a good person. But Hillary brutalized Bernie Sanders in ads.
Yeah.
I mean, called him a socialist, called him a liar. I mean, called him every insult under the books, under the clouds. And Bernie was like, don't attack Hillary. She's my friend. To be fair, he said that with Joe Biden. And Joe Biden did the same thing. He brutalized him in ads. And Bernie refused to attack Joe Biden. So it was like, that annoyed me so much.
To Republicans right now as they jack up the price of gas, groceries, and health care. Haley is as Michigan as it gets. She grew up in a middle-class household. Her parents ran a landscaping business out of their Ford F-150. And she'll tell anyone who will listen about it.
I hate that. I hate that because that's not an accomplishment. Oh, well, her parents ran a landscaping company from their Ford F-150.
Yeah,
so what? That's not. She didn't do that. Her parents did that. So what the hell are you talking about?
Her first Oldsmobile. She knows what Michigan families are going through. And that's how I know she will always put Michigan first. Join me in voting for Haley Stevens on or before August 4th.
So their primary date in Michigan is August 4th. What does Haley Stevens say about this? I am absolutely thrilled to have Governor Gretchen Whitmer's endorsement for the U.S. Senate. She is a champion for our state, and she's running for president, by the way, so she ain't going to be there much longer. And she understands the stake of this race and why it's important to re-elect the strongest Democrat in this primary. She gets stuff done for Michigan. Let's go win. So that's what she says. More total bullshit. Because it's clear that Haley Stevens is going to be just like any other Democrat in the Senate. She's going to support Chuck Schumer in his leadership in the Senate. So will Abdul Al-Sayed, by the way, even though he pretends that he won't. But whoever Democrats nominate will support Chuck Schumer.
I love how they put breaking. If it's so big,
Yeah, it's like a big deal, that Haley Stevens was endorsed. Oh yeah, I forgot to play this too. Here's Zoran Mamdani finally admitting that he will not arrest Netanyahu when it comes to New York. Let's see. I probably played this already, but hold on.
My administration has reviewed every avenue available under applicable law to determine whether New York City could execute the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant if Benjamin Netanyahu came here.
By the way, they can't.
It is clear that we do not have the independent legal authority to enforce this warrant.
Oh, by the way, this definitely applies to the progressives who thought that Mamdani was actually going to arrest Netanyahu. So if I can find it, because I have so many. Where is it? Ah, here we go. There's zero chance that Mamdani was ever going to arrest Netanyahu. So all the progressives who voted for him expecting that, not going to happen.
By the way, if you go to the group chat, you'll see that I posted 2 articles about Mamdani. One from last night,
also one more thing I wanted to say on this. So yeah, Mamdani is a waste of time. It wasn't going to actually do anything. So yeah, and this progressives, they're just wasting time. So you're all morons. You posted it in the group? I don't think I see it. I don't know why I don't see it. Hold on.
In the Indian and Friends and Family group.
Oh, let me reload this and see.
Yep, you have to scroll up a bit.
Oh. Oh yeah, I see. Let me play this first, and then we'll go to the Mamdani thing. I saw what you post. I think you posted this. Trump fell.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't see this until this now. Oh wow. Let me mute that. I'm pretty sure it's copyrighted. Is this AI? It looks like it's AI, but let me see. Well, it's still hilarious that he fell.
Yeah.
Let's see. This video is AI.
It's AI. Shit.
This video is an AI-altered version of a real incident July 1st, 2026, where in the actual footage, Trump briefly stumbled and lost his footing while entering an SUV, but he did not collapse.
It still matters, still.
Yeah, he still tripped and almost fell, but he didn't actually fall. So this was an AI version of what actually happened. But yeah, it's still pretty funny that he fell.
So I posted 2 about Mamdani. See, right? That's not just this one and then the other.
Democrat. So this is Mamdani talking to, I don't know who, Roland Martin. And apparently that's his show.
Shit, Roland Martin.
Yeah. Democrats have been.
So he went on Roland Martin's show.
Democrats have been branded as socialists for longer than I can remember. I remember President Obama being called a socialist.
Yeah, that's totally made up.
Almost every single day by Republicans across this country, and it didn't stop him from delivering not just on a first term but a second term, and things that we still talk about to this day.
Delivering on what? What did he do other than doing Obamacare in his first term and tax cuts? And his second term, I don't remember anything that he did that was substantial. The only thing he tried to do was push the
he tortured some folks.
Yeah, that, and he put what's that trade deal?
TPP.
I forget. TPP. Thank you. But Trump, that's the reason why Trump won, because nobody wanted the TPP.
Yeah.
So that's all he did in the second term. So what did he deliver on? Oh, by the way, Obamacare was the individual mandate program that Mitt Romney did in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So he just ripped off Mitt Romney's right-wing program and pretended that was historic healthcare reform. And now the individual mandate's gone, which means healthcare prices have gone through the roof. And people try to blame Trump for that, but that was Obama. Obama ultimately made this system, and Trump took away the funding, but ultimately it was Obama made this system when he had every opportunity to do a public option or even single payer, but he didn't. So,
and he didn't codify.
And I do have to.
And he didn't codify Roe versus Wade, and now it's back to the now over 30 states in the country have banned abortion pretty much. So even majority of the country's banned abortion now.
Push a little bit on you, Roland, on the premise around blue and red and purple, because I believe what's at the heart of this agenda is the struggle of the working person. And as much as we believe ourselves in New York to be exceptional, we also know that working people aren't just struggling in New York City, they're struggling everywhere across the country. And
you're not struggling.
This message is about how can we ensure that when you work every single day, that you come home at the end of the day and you can actually afford to pay those bills for your housing, for your childcare, for your groceries. How do we reduce the distance between those two things? And here in New York City, we're talking.
It doesn't mean anything. This is just flowery rhetoric. Like it doesn't mean anything. It's like, oh, how do we reduce the gap between your money and your food? It's like, you haven't done anything as mayor of New York City. You didn't even do free buses, which you promised. It's like, oh well, for reasons we can't do it now. Maybe down the line. It's like
talked about building more affordable housing, universal child care, city-run grocery.
You didn't do universal child care either. That's just
stores, real tangible things. I think that care, city-run grocery stores, real tangible
city-run
things.
Grocery stores. He's trying to do that, to be fair, but again, I'm concerned about the Hispanic-run bodegas that they can't compete with these.
What about Medicare for all? You support Medicare for all, Soron?
I don't. Has he ever discussed that? I mean, I don't even. Maybe he has, but I think I missed it.
I think that these have the potential to connect with any working person that's struggling anywhere. And I think for those who are concerned about what is this party, my answer would be that, what is the Democratic Party if not its voters? And what we've seen from its voters is that people are hungry for a vision of the Democratic Party that has more to do with the New Deal than with the raw deal that so many Americans have been forced.
Well, that's cringe.
Well, I'm not going to do anything about it.
Yeah. And on top of that, the New Deal Democrats is trying to bring that back.
Yeah.
Again, FDR was not the only thing. Believe it or not, most of his New Deal failed. I mean, the only reason why we got out of the Depression because of World War II. I mean, the only thing that didn't fail was Social Security. But if you guys didn't know, black people were not eligible for Social Security at the time. So it was like only white people were eligible for it. So big surprise there.
And then I posted one more above that.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see. Here we go. Here we go. So, Mamdani said he would arrest any Hamas leaders if they set foot in New York City. Oh, I didn't see this either. Hold on. Let me see.
If circumstances were different, would you have vowed to arrest the leaders of Hamas who perpetrated the October 7th attack if they were visiting New York? And if so, why not include something about that to show New Yorkers that you're presenting a more balanced approach? Why not include that in your video?
Didn't the ICC put forward a warrant for Yahya Sinwar?
I mean, I know he's dead. Yeah.
Yes, but my point is that they did, and in the video I made very.
Yeah, they did put out an arrest warrant for Yahya Sinwar, but I don't know what they had to do with anything.
Very clear, as I have before, that my interest in.
Mamdani's sweating his ass off, so that tells me he's about to lie here. So
executing that warrant is not specific to Benjamin Netanyahu, but to anyone who they put a warrant towards for war crimes and crimes against humanity. And part of that is a reflection of a universal politics. And it is from a universal politics that I can look at October 7th and describe it for what it is, which is a horrific war crime. And I can also look at Benjamin Netanyahu.
October 6th was a horrific war crime. So he's using he's using the talking points from Israel and the Zionists there. So it was a horrible attack.
And see the way that he has orchestrated this genocide, and also deem him to similarly be a war criminal. And I think especially at a time when there are those in Washington who are discussing measures to take apart the International Criminal Court, what so many are looking for.
Personally, I don't care about the ICC. It's just, it's a waste of time to me.
Or is a sense that there is, in fact, a rule of law across the world where there are crimes that are so grave that they offend.
Rules of law around the world. The ICC doesn't do that. They don't even have authority to go and arrest people. They have to rely on other countries to do it.
All of humanity, and I believe that we should hold those who perpetrate them accountable, no matter who they are or where they're from. And when it comes to the ICC, they've put forward warrants, whether it's Yahya Sinwar, Benjamin Netanyahu, I think a few other members of the Israeli government. I believe that all of them should be honored.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And
thank you. Thank you.
So technically, there's a warrant against Vladimir Putin too, of Russia. Remember for kidnapping kids? What the truth was, he took kids from Ukraine and put them in Russia to protect them.
By the way, Laura Loomer just met with Zelensky.
Well, you go. You have to meet with Netanyahu and Zelensky in order to establish yourself as pro-Trump and pro-establishment. So those are two leaders you have to meet with. And let's see here. So what do we got here in the chat? Good morning method, I guess, is morning where you live at. So let's see. What else do we got here? Natalie says, Romney Care via the Heritage Foundation is why I can't afford health insurance in my 60s. Thanks, so bummer. Yeah. I mean, it's just horrible. The individual mandate and the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. Affordable. What a joke.
Yeah.
The Affordable Care Act, my ass. Healthcare is more expensive than it ever has been. Thank God I got Medicaid, or else I wouldn't have health insurance either. Let's see. So we got a pretty funny clip here. I'm not sure if people have seen this, but trans student erupted into yelling tirade after being misgendered. So this has gone pretty viral. I assume that it's just pretty loud, so let me lower this a bit.
Stop misgendering me! What's the problem?
Body cam captures trans Florida student explosive meltdown over misgendering before arrest.
Why do you let those kids get away with this? They are not supposed to be here!
If you don't lower your voice, I am going to put handcuffs on you, and I'm going to take you to a Baker Act facility. You lower your voice.
By the way, the Baker Act, most states have this. If you're having psychological issues, the government can Baker Act you, basically put you in a psychological hold for 72 hours. So most states do have Baker Act laws in their law book. So police have this power if they suspect that you're having a psychological episode.
Try it.
Is that a threat?
Are you threatening me? Can we get another unit to deal with Jay Lee here? He is having a breakdown.
Just say the right pronoun!
What'd you say?
Oh, mace. You're gonna mace her.
Get down on the ground right now.
No!
You're about to get sprayed.
No!
Get down on the ground right now.
Leave me alone! Please!
Okay, are you gonna calm down?
I want to be away from
No,
him.
it's too late now. It's too late now.
That guy's smiling.
Yeah,
Let's take him.
I just want to get away from him.
He needs.
Say!
You keep saying he.
Say!
I have.
Misgendering me! Just say she!
No.
So he got arrested.
Do not push me.
So there it is. She completely lost her mind there. freaking out.
Sorry.
Okay, how the am I?
Oh, never mind. That's something else. Remember when this was a mental disorder? There's a debate whether gender dysphoria this is gender dysphoria, which is a mental illness where people think they're one sex but they're really another one, like this. I mean, it's a very interesting debate between gender dysphoria and trans being. I don't know what the difference is. It seems like the same thing. Let's see. I think we covered this last week. No, not this.
There's AOC.
Yeah, I gotta play. I'm gonna play that too. AOC pretending to be a Southern black preacher. It depends what part of the country she's in, because she'll come up. She has multiple fake accents. U.S. Ambassador to NATO Matt Whitaker burps live on air. Let's see.
And ultimately, I think it secures the transition of the conventional defense of Europe to.
I've done that on air too. I mean, accidentally. So it's like you probably just had lunch or something.
It reminds me of that Zionist guy who went on Fox News with Lord Ingram, and I don't remember what it was, but multiple times he stopped speaking. He was like, oh, you remember that guy?
He probably just had dinner or lunch. And he's like, oh. So. Fiorella says one of the cringiest things I've ever seen. Her Southern black preacher accent needs a lot of work. This is her Hillary Clinton hot sauce and purse moment, and honestly, this not just disingenuous but gross. Yeah, I mean, this is a good point. I mean, this is the Hillary Clinton, because I think Hillary Clinton went on the Breakfast Club, and she's like, "What's your favorite? What's one thing you do which get to know you?" Oh yeah, I keep hot sauce in my purse. Yeah. Because
and they're like, really?
Because as we know, black people like spicy food, so she tried to pretend that she was black by putting, she had hot sauce in her purse. Like that bullshit. I don't who buys that. But this is AOC's black preacher accent. So let's watch.
We cannot afford to leave Tennessee behind. We cannot afford to leave Kentucky behind, Alabama behind, Mississippi behind, Georgia behind, South Carolina behind.
It's definitely a black preacher accent. Like I didn't see it, I didn't hear it until it's definitely a black preacher accent. Like
doing this for years.
Yeah, he's like at first I listened to it, I was like, I don't really hear it, but now I do because it has like that black preacher accent, like.
I'll admit this right now. I know some of you might be calling me crazy for this, but at least when Hillary Clinton did that accent a long time ago, I'll admit it was kind of funny when she did it. I don't know if it was the voice.
Yeah, it was. It was disingenuous, but at least it was funny. But AOC is she comes across as cringy and like desperate to get their support because she's running for president. Everybody, we all know this. She's traveling around the country endorsing politicians, and she's traveled to Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nevada, and South Carolina, the first 4 primary states. I don't know. Some guy running for a Democrat, I guess, running for Congress. Never heard of him either. So, by the way, look who's in the back. Mostly black people. So that's clearly. I assume Justin Pearson is black, but hold on. Let me see. Justin Pearson.
But remember, AOC is all about identity politics.
Oh yeah, this is him.
Oh God.
So, black dude with afro.
I have an afro.
So this is Justin Pearson running that AOC's endorsed and is campaigning for. So, yeah, she's definitely running for president. Where am I? Oh, here we go. I have so many tabs open. Let me get rid of a lot of these. Yeah, so she's definitely running for president. She's going to be the Bernie Sanders of this cycle. So basically, she's going to win some states. She's going to do well. And then she'll get humiliated on Super Tuesday and eventually drop out and endorse Gavin Newsom, I think. So I think he's going to be the nominee. So hear me now, quote me later.
Remember when she said that Jose Alvarado was her favorite Nick because he's
He's
What is
Puerto
it,
Rican.
American?
Yeah, it's cringe too because, like Jose Alvarado, he comes off the bench. Usually, you wouldn't, and he's a good. I'm not saying he's a bad player; he's a good player, but usually you would say Jalen Brunson or Cat or Josh Hart or OG Ananobi. I forget, I screwed up his name, but you wouldn't say Jose Alvarado, or Landry Shamet. They're all good players. I'm not saying they suck, but
That'd be like my favorite player being I forget this Caucasian player from the Knicks, but he'd be my favorite player.
Tyler Kolek, I think you're referring to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he's good too, and I hope he gets more minutes this upcoming season, unless they trade him. But if they don't trade him, then he definitely needs more minutes because a little bit he played well. So, let's see, that's wrestling. I mean, I think there's something else here. Unless I think there's Mamdani being a hypocrite. No Clinton. Yeah. There was something else. I guess I didn't save it, but I forgot right now.
Oh, and also speaking of the Knicks, I've seen that Cat can do a really good choke slam.
Oh yeah. Well, with me and Witchy, hopefully, if she does pro wrestling talk tomorrow, because she seemed exhausted, so I assume we're gonna do that tomorrow at 8:00. We're definitely gonna review Saturday night's main event. Yeah. It literally became a show to honor the Knicks winning the championship, especially at the end where they dedicated a 15-minute segment to Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, of course, LeBron's 76er.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was a shock to me that LeBron went to the 76ers. I'm like, really? And he like, I was gonna retire, and then all of a sudden I seen the 76ers roster, and I thought they had a chance to win a championship.
I'm gonna take my talents to Northeast and join the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, like what? Philadelphia? He has no connection. I thought he would go to the Cavaliers and retire, in his hometown team. But no, he's gonna retire.
Philly, what's the score between the Yankees? It's still only 1-0. Top of the eighth. Well,
I have it here.
They're pitching another jam.
Oh yeah, I mean it's 1-0 Yankees. I'm not surprised. Schlittler is on the mound. Especially last year I always called him Shittler, but that was an accident. So
I heard there's a new sequel coming called Schlittler's List.
Let's see. So
by the way, one reason why it's not 1-0 because Paul Goldschmidt hit a home run.
Well, he's having a resurgent year.
It's
LeBron lately. Yeah, lately, yeah. But LeBron James going to Philly. Yep. So it's a super team again. LeBron joined another super team. You have.
That doesn't always transfer to success, though.
Nope. People are like LeBron and Embiid and Jaylen Brown and the point guard. I forget his name. The young guy, Maxwell or something. Oh my God, it's a super team. Oh, Matt, yeah. Oh my God, who's gonna beat this team? I'm like the Knicks. They're defending NBA champions, and look, this team has zero chemistry. Especially LeBron coming in, it's gonna fuck with whatever chemistry they have. So they're gonna struggle early in the year, is my prediction.
And Embiid, has been dealing with injuries. So
again, by the way, Embiid is always injured. Very rarely plays, and when he does, he plays well. I'm not saying he sucks, but he's always hurt. That's the problem. So what am I gonna say? I kind of lost track. Oh yeah. So all of a sudden, it was the Spurs. Everybody fell in love with them, even though they got humiliated by the Knicks. Now it's the Sixers. Oh my God, LeBron joined the Sixers. Who's gonna beat them? No one's gonna beat them. LeBron is like what, 42? I mean, he has to decline eventually. Yeah. I mean, he was still really good last season, but
he's a fucking flopper and complainer.
He's like, he has to have a decline eventually. So I wouldn't be surprised if he starts declining this season because he's
comparing him to MJ.
That's a joke. I'm sorry. If you want to debate Michael Jordan and LeBron James, it's not even close. Yeah, LeBron James doesn't suck. He's great. I'm not saying he sucks, but he's no Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan won. He was undefeated in the finals, never lost once. LeBron James has lost in the finals more than almost any player in history. I mean, it's like his teams. So he had what? 5 or 6 championships, but he's been to the finals 12 times. He's lost the majority of his appearance in the NBA finals, so that's not Jordan-esque. The closest player to Jordan is Kobe Bryant. I mean, he's like the closest player you want to compare him to Jordan. Let's see here. So, yeah, we're definitely. When's the trading deadline? I know it's in August, but at some point in August.
Well, either early. Oh yeah, they pushed it this year, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it's in August.
Yeah,
early August is the deadline. So we're definitely going to do a Yankee stream for the deadline and review the deadline in the first half of the season.
Also, where the fuck did the Red Sox come from all of a sudden?
I don't know. Like they always somehow, they struggled mightily early in the year, and now they're back. It's like they're competitive again. The Blue Jays have absolutely struggled. They've been terrible this season. It's like, what the hell happened to them? They took the Dodgers to a Game 7, and they were winning until that home run. I forget by who.
Miguel Rojas broke.
Yeah.
No
They were
way.
They were winning in Game 7. I thought, oh my god, they're actually going to win this thing. Oh shit, as a home run, and
the
it's
White
over.
Sox are still going to be in Chicago. It's just the Bears that are moving out.
Yeah, so they're good. They're still going to be in Chicago. So Vladimir Guerrero Jr. especially has been abysmal. He's like, what, he had 2 home runs the entire year? I mean, I saw he's either 2 or 3. I mean, he's been abysmal all year. Yeah. And people he was leading in the All-Star game voting over Ben Rice. I'm like, Ben Rice has been awesome. Yeah. Like, why? I mean, I think we talked about it briefly. It's like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is a recognized name. He's just and Ben Rice isn't. No, he's a name now. He has 30 home runs already this season, 30 plus, and if he keeps it up, he's gonna hit over 40. So, by the way, hopefully we get Judge back. I know it's like, and Stanton. We haven't seen Stanton since April.
Yeah,
he just.
I honestly think they might need to trade Stanton after this season. He just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a legend, especially for that run, that playoff run in 24 when they went to the World Series. But ultimately, next year I think is the last year of his contract anyway. So chances are they're not going to pick up his option for 28. So I know he has one more guaranteed year, which is next season. And then 28 is his option. Like, there's no way the Yankees picking up that option.
Yeah.
So pretty much, even if they don't release him or trade him after the season, he's going to be done pretty much after next season. So Judge is not getting any younger. He's like 35, 34. So they got to win a championship, and soon, because Garrett Cole isn't getting any younger either. So it's like the Yankees are completely botched this core that they have.
Yeah.
Figure they should have won at least 1 or 2 championships. They won 0. So let's see. So we're gonna talk in early August. I want to do a stream. I gotta talk to David, make sure he knows. So
what they need to do is trade Austin Wells and Anthony Volpe.
Oh my God. Anthony Volpe is abysmal.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a big league shortstop. He's not. I don't think he's even a big leaguer. I don't think he belongs in the majors at all. Yeah. I mean, I forget who. I think John Boy shared this stat. He's the only player in Major League Baseball history to have a career 220 batting average and a 280 on base percentage in over 10,000 plate appearances or 9,000 plate appearances.
Man.
He's the only one. He's abysmal. He's not a big league player. People thought he'd be the next Derek Jeter, but he's like, no, he's not even anywhere near Derek Jeter.
And then of course Austin Wells. I mean, Austin Wells is.
Oh, he's abysmal. Yeah, he's good defensively, but he's just abysmal at the plate.
Yeah.
I mean, and unfortunately, this is not 1996 where you can be abysmal at the plate, but great defender and catcher and be fine.
Yeah.
This is a new era of baseball where all 9 guys need to be able to hit. This isn't like 19.
Rid of Camilo Duvall and what's his name, Jake Bird.
Yeah, I'm done with Duvall. I mean, I'm like he's just abysmal too. I mean, he's ass. I'm done with him. I mean, he's like, oh, he's a former closer of the Giants. He was great at one point, but he's not great anymore. I mean, he's just ass. He's abysmal. I hope the Yankees.
Mason Miller is.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna bring him up. I hope the Yankees get him from the Pirates. They need to give if they need the Padres sending in the Pirates. I butchered that, but yeah, the Padres.
The problem is I don't know if they want to be the setup role. So.
Well, most likely, what's his face is going to be a setup guy. Who's closing? I forget his name. Yeah, Bednar probably going to be the setup guy.
He's so good as the closer lately. I just don't know if you can take him out.
Yeah, I mean, I see that, but if the Yankees get Mason Miller, who's arguably the best closer in the game right now, I don't see how Bednar keeps that closer job. He's probably going to end up the setup guy, which, I wonder how he feels about that. I mean, I'm not sure when he's a free agent, but if he's a free agent after the year, he could fuck off pretty easily. So even though he's been good lately, I mean, he's been great lately, but yeah, Mason Miller's better. It's like, if the Yankees get him, they're probably gonna prefer to have Mason Miller in that spot. So I would like to see George Lombard Jr. in the majors and take Volpe's place, but Brian Cashman and the Yankees are pretty stubborn. Once they make a decision, they stick with it. Yes, you've seen with Volpe. He's been abysmal in his entire career in the majors. And again, I don't understand how he won that Gold Glove in his rookie year. He was abysmal defensively, even in his rookie year, and he still won that Gold Glove. It's like, how did that happen? Because I looked at his defense. I watched a lot of those games, and he was abysmal. And then I find out after the year he won the Gold Glove. Based on what? He was abysmal. I mean, but whatever. He's a Gold Glove winning shortstop. But his defense ever since been abysmal too. So it's not like it was just a rookie slump. He sucks. If you're a Yankee fan, you know that he sucks. He's not a big leaguer. The Yankees should just release him because nobody's gonna want to trade for him with those numbers that he's put up. Who's gonna trade for Anthony Volpe? It's like, hey, we're gonna offer you Anthony Volpe. It's like we probably give that guy a minor league deal at best. Or maybe a spring training invite, but we're not going to put him on our big league roster. He's been just abysmal. Cord Lord says baseball is a meth sport. I don't know what you mean by that, but he also says sports ball is fun. Yeah, I know. I mean, I have nothing else to really talk about, which is why we ended up on sports.
That's what Snow Himbo replies sometimes. He's like, "Yay, sports ball."
Yeah. I know I don't really have much else to talk about, which is why we ended up on sports. But yeah, so we're trying to kill off a few minutes here. LeBron going to the 76ers is like, really? You're in the same division as the Knicks? I mean, the Knicks gonna kick your ass and throughout the year, and then people will be like, "Oh, is LeBron done? Is he washed up?" Because that's going to be the narrative.
By the way, for NBA 2K27 and FC 27, they're both their biggest or their top editions. They're going to be $150 each.
Oh my god, that's another thing. Oh, and 2K27's cover athlete is Wembanyama.
Yeah,
and it's like some Knicks fans are mad about that. And I'm like, I don't care who's in the cover. It's not going to play the game anyways. But I don't care who's in the cover. It's like the Knicks still won the championship. That's what matters. I don't care that Wembanyama made the cover of the game. It's like, should have been Jalen Brunson. You can make that argument, but I don't really care one way or another. So I'm not mad about it. Cord Lord says, no, look it up. Baseball players use meth in their drinks. There's a hot container. No, yeah, I see it. Yeah, that's true. At Feminines. Yeah, so there was one point, I think there was 60% of big leaguers were on Adderall at one point.
Oh, yeah, Tony Romo was arrested today.
Oh, yeah. Arrested for suspicion of DUI. So Tony Romo drove drunk, everybody. So if you're interested in that, allegedly. So yeah, baseball, I mean, back in the 60s, absolutely. Yeah, I think Keith Hernandez talked about this. He played for the Mets, where a lot of the guys were on they were on stimulants, speed. They drank coffee. I mean, they were like high as kites out there playing, and they somehow won the '86 World Series against the Red Sox. But they were high as a kite most nights. they were playing. So today, that's allegedly cleaned up, but a lot of players still on Adderall. And the
Remember
excuse
that
is
the Mets are the big brothers. Remember that.
right, yeah. Oh, by the way, the Mets have been absolutely abysmal too this season.
Yeah.
It's like
Did
they have the
you
highest
see that
payroll.
clip I shared from Evan Roberts when he was talking about, the Mets have all their money and they lose all the time.
Yeah, I did. The reason, look, they lose all the time because they stink. They're not a good baseball team. I mean, they're just not. I mean, you have a group of highly paid. Lindor is abysmal.
Yeah.
Juan Soto has been probably their best player all year, but again, he hasn't been as good as he was when he was at the Yankees.
And don't forget Bo Bichette.
Oh, he's even worse. It's like, what the hell? The Mets paid out all this money to Soto, Lindor, Bo Bichette.
So Steve Cohen isn't their savior like they said he was going to be.
He spent a lot of money, unlike the Wilpons, but he's spending in all the wrong places. I mean, the Mets are abysmal. Juan Soto obviously wants to be back with the Yankees. He took a photo with all the Yankees in the All-Star game. So, and he said that they're his family. So it's like, dude, why didn't you just take the Yankees contract?
Yeah.
It was $15 million less, yes, but you wanted it to be a Yankee so bad, just take that contract. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad he didn't. It was $700 million. And Steinbrenner used that as an excuse not to spend any more money. So it was like, oh, well, we paid Juan Soto $700 million, so we can't really spend any more money now to improve the team. So I'm conflicted. I'm glad he didn't take it, but at the same time, he was so good in 24 that it was like part of me wanted him back.
But at this point, he's only really good offensively. So
yeah, he's abysmal defensively. I mean, like he would end up being the DH if he came back to the Yankees eventually.
Oh, wow, Cowboy Kitty, you showed up so late. We're almost done. Witchy wasn't doing the show tonight. So.
No, Witchy couldn't come on because she was exhausted and her son was coming back. So hopefully we have her next week. We should have her next week. And I assume we're doing Pro Wrestling Talk. Again, it depends how Witchy feels because she was exhausted. But if we are, then we're going to review Saturday Night's Main Event, which was basically a Knicks show to honor the Knicks. Well, I'm sure Witchy's got plenty to say about that. And next week, the week after, is SummerSlam. So we're not doing the show at all. And we'll review it the week after. So unfortunately, it's 2 nights. And it's going to be lame. And I already have my beer and liquor ready to go for SummerSlam because it's going to be so abysmal that I'm not going to want to watch this. Of course, I'm going to hang out with Witchy, and hopefully Dave will be able to hang out with him to watch the show. But
speaking of those, I'm not able to form a group on X with you, Steph, and Dave. I don't know if it's saying like for my new account. I don't know if it's saying like there's settings. Don't have.
I may have to form that group maybe because your account's new, so I'm guessing that it won't let you do it unless you have a certain amount of time. Yeah. So I could probably form that group, just that I have to remember to do it. Let's see, Cowboy Kitty. Hey, glad you joined us. You just go back and watch the show from the beginning because we did talk about a lot of interesting stuff. If you haven't, make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Problem is, most of my audience is the same, so I'm sure you guys are already subscribed. But if you haven't, make sure you subscribe. And make sure you put on notifications, even though a lot of people have complained that they don't get the notifications because INN is clearly being not blackballed. That's not the right word, but I forget right now.
Blacklisted.
Blacklisted. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, make sure you guys do all that. Like and subscribe. I'll let you guys know on social media where we can do Pro Wrestling Talk. It depends how Witchy feels. I'll talk to her tomorrow at some point, and we'll make that decision then. But if we do Pro Wrestling Talk, we're on 8 o'clock on Saturday night. We don't forget to check out all of INN shows. Like Indie goes on Tuesday. We Indie News Live. Reef and Colin do INN News on Thursday. Indie does something. It depends what show you feel like doing that day. And Friday is moi with Angel and Friends, with Witchy and Alex and Hof, and different rotating panelists, whatever Witchy decides to have on or ask me to have on. So, yeah, make sure you do all that, like and subscribe. I'm gonna see you guys next Friday. for Angel and Friends. If not, check out Pro Wrestling Talk tomorrow at 8. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Love you all. Peace.